Monster Jam fans, welcome back to another commentary here on the channel, the very first of 2022, as we are here with Monster Jam in San Diego. That's right, Petco Park, the host of Stadium Tour Yellow's second stop of the year, is the very first commentary here of 2022. Let's meet the drivers that'll be competing in these two shows. We have Preston Perez here in Axe, trying to follow up a solid first weekend. Paul Jensen is in Jurassic Attack. Craig Champion is in El Toro Loco. And Mike Christensen is in Vendetta. Mike Christensen and Paul Jensen, members of the same team. The next four, Caleb Blood, looking for a bounce-back weekend in Soldier Fortune. Jim Kohler, representing Avengers' 25th anniversary. His teammate Corey Rummel is here in Megalodon. And Barry Musauer is piloting the zombie truck. Then we finish out these final two here before we get into our special introductions. We have Charlie Pauken in Monster Mud, who had a great first weekend in Oakland, and we have Camden Murphy in the Bakugan Dragonoid. Now, Monster Jam fans, there are still two more drivers to meet here. One of them, one of the best drivers in Monster Jam today, is hoping for a good weekend here in San Diego. It's Ryan Anderson in Son of a Digger. Ryan Anderson, a part of Team Digger that is celebrating 40 years. A spectacular achievement for that Team Digger. Ryan Anderson, son of the icon Dennis Anderson, who built Gravedigger from the ground up. And it has lasted 40 years of Monster Jam, the most identifiable monster truck in the sport. And last but not least, rounding out this field of 12, he still may be a kid, but he's arguably one of the best drivers in Monster Jam, and maybe even the best Gravedigger driver. It is Tyler Menninga, Gravedigger. Tyler Menninga, your current tour leader here, driving the 40th anniversary Gravedigger. That beautiful new body, it's subtle, but it is definitely a pretty body, and it is noticeable the differences. You've got the Gravedigger, instead of being written side by side, it's on top of each other, and obviously the big 40th anniversary logo on the side. Such an iconic year for Gravedigger, the 40th anniversary. It is a big deal. We don't know what they're doing in the World Finals Encore. That's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait for that. But for now, Gravedigger is going to be tearing it up all of first quarter. And Tyler Menninga currently leading Stadium Tour Yellow. Now, Monster Jam fans, this is going to be a great night. This is the first of two shows here in this commentary video. Now, you might be wondering, why are we doing a commentary? Where's the weekly wrap-up? Well, I'm doing a test this week. I want to see how the commentary performs as in relation to how the weekly wrap-up did. The viewers said that they liked the commentaries better, and the commentaries will probably save me more time. So if you're going to watch the commentaries more than the weekly wrap-ups, we're going to do those instead. So we'll see how this performs. If it's a good week for the commentaries will be sticking around. Let's get into Monster Jam Racing. The very first race here is between Axe and Vendetta. That is Preston Perez in the near lane in Axe, and Mike Christensen in Vendetta in the far lane. Two independent drivers looking to do a good job and make it far in racing, get themselves some points. These two have met once. Preston Perez won that matchup. Going to the final jump, it is close, but Mike Christensen in Vendetta has a berth in round number 2 as he beats out Axe. Now the next pairing here, we have Charlie Pauken in Monster Mud taking on Barry Musauer in Zombie. Charlie Pauken, well, he is really had Barry Musauer's number. He is 6-2 against Musauer. Now, a bit of an interesting development here. Barry's light turned green, but Charlie Pauken's light did not turn green. So we're going to redo that. Charlie Pauken, Barry Musauer lining up head-to-head again. Charlie Pauken, he is 6-2 against Barry Musauer in his Monster Jam career. And Pauken getting a little bit high on the berm there, giving Musauer an early advantage. But Pauken trying to make up the ground in this first turn, but it is going to be hard for him to beat Musauer. Barry Musauer and Zombie with a big lead going around the final jump, but Hawkin made up the ground and Monster Mutt wins the race and is going to round 2. What a crazy race there. Hawkin down from the start. Now this next matchup here is going to be an interesting one. In the right lane, we have Craig Champion and El Toro Loco, and in the left lane, it is Tyler Menninga in Gravedigger. Not an easy win for Craig Champion to get here, but if he can, it'll be one of the biggest he ever earns. Tyler Menninga has been fast on this track all year long. Tyler Menninga with the lead and with the win right there in round 1. Gravedigger moving on to the next round. El Toro Loco, unfortunately, not going to be grabbing a win here against Gravedigger. The next race here in round number 1, 2 drivers that had some troubles in racing last week. In the right lane, it is Caleb Blood in Soldier Fortune, and in the left lane, Paul Jensen in Jurassic Attack. You might remember in the first show in Oakland, Caleb Blood flipped over in the very first race she had of the night after the jump. Couldn't make it back out for the skills competition. Paul Jensen had a wild save in the second show, didn't finish the race, and lost. So these 2 drivers, one of them's got to go to round 2, and Caleb Blood with more problems. She is not going to win this one unless something terrible happens in Jurassic Attack, but it won't. Paul Jensen is winning this race of the 2 drivers that have struggled the most here in racing so far this year. Now we move on to round 2 of racing. Mike Christensen is in Vendetta. He's in the right lane. Bakugan Dragonoid, piloted by Camden Murphy, is in the left lane as we get ready to go racing here in round 2. These 2 have never matched up once in Monster Jam Racing. Definitely a tough match for Vendetta, and he is already far behind. A big mistake in the turn. Dragonoid's going to have an easy victory here. Camden Murphy had the automatic buy into round 2, and now he is going to the semifinals with a win over Vendetta. The next pairing here in round number 2. Again, round 1 has 4 races, round 2 has 4 races because of 4 drivers getting bye runs. This one is a matchup of 2 veterans in the sport, Charlie Pauken in Monster Mutt and Jim Kohler in Avenger. Now these 2 have only matched up in 3 races in Monster Jam history, if you can believe that. They have been racing in Monster Jam at the same time for decades. However, they've only raced 3 times, and Charlie Pauken is 3-0 in those races. Jim Kohler looking to finally beat a longtime competitor in the sport. Charlie Pauken has had a lot of racing success. He won the first racing competition of the year, and Jim Kohler has a big wall standing in front of him right now, which is Monster Mutt. And Jim Kohler with a mistake in the turn. He hit the little turning bump. Monster Mutt with a good chance at a win here. Kohler going really wide in the final turn, and it is all Monster Mutt as Charlie Pauken moves on to the next round and will move on to be 4-0 against Jim Kohler in his Monster Jam career. The next pairing, what an iconic duo we have right now. Son of a Digger in the right lane, that is Ryan Anderson. Gravedigger in the left lane, that is Tyler Menninga. 2 spectacular drivers. They are going head-to-head right now in what is going to be a really fun race. Ryan Anderson is 6-0 against Tyler Menninga in his Monster Jam career. So Tyler Menninga looking for an incredible win. You know these 2 are going to go hard. Look at Tyler Menninga in the first turn. Both of them going hard in the first turn, and they both have small mistakes as Ryan Anderson hit the turning bump, but so did Tyler Menninga. And Gravedigger is going to try to snag the win, and he will. Gravedigger moving on. Tyler Menninga secures his first victory against Ryan Anderson in his Monster Jam career. Now the final race of round number 2. In the right lane, it's Paul Jensen in Jurassic Attack. The left lane is Corey Rummel in Megalodon. These 2 are both independent drivers. Corey Rummel has done a great job on this track. He won Oakland's second racing competition, so this man knows how to race. Paul Jensen is not going to have an easy one in front of him. Corey Rummel, early lead heading to the final turn. Paul Jensen with a big mistake after that jump. He's going to have a lot of ground to make up, and he will not do it as Megalodon is off to the semifinal round. We move on to the semifinals, and what a race we've got here for you. If you told me before the season this would be a tight one, I would have probably said that's a surprise. In the right lane, Charlie Pauken, Monster Mutt, left lane, Camden Murphy and Dragonoid. And with the way Charlie Pauken has raced on this track this year, do not count him out. Camden Murphy may be the faster racer, but Charlie Pauken has a lead going to the final turn, an awkward bounce, giving an open door for Camden Murphy to make up ground. Charlie Pauken a mistake in the final turn, but it is still Monster Mutt's race. He is going to the final round. The next pairing in the right lane, Tyler Menninga and Gravedigger, and in the left lane, it is Corey Rummel and Megalodon. Tyler Menninga had a very sloppy win in the second round, but he got some luck with Ryan Anderson struggling. We'll see if he can make up for that really tough race, and he is not going to. He gives a little too much gas in the turn, and Tyler Menninga is in big trouble. Megalodon with a wide open window to win this race and go to the final round, and he will. We will have a rematch of the very first racing final of the year coming up next. Did it last week. Monster Jam fans, who's ready to meet your final round competitors here in San Diego? Now, before we even get into it, this is a rematch of the first final round race of the year back in Oakland last week, so there's a lot on the line between these two. In the right lane, one of the more veteran drivers in the sport today, the 2010 World Finals Freestyle Champion, it is Monster Mutt, piloted by Charlie Pauken. And in the left lane, representing Team Scream, one of the most underrated drivers in the sport. You can never count him out to win a racing competition. It is Corey Rummel in Megalodon. Now, these two drivers have not met up a ton of times. However, they have raced in a total of 4 races against each other. Charlie Pauken is 3-1 against Corey Rummel, and that was only added on to last week in that final round in Oakland, as Charlie Pauken was 2-1 and won that race. Now, we also have here the 2 racing winners we have had so far this year. Charlie Pauken won the first of the year, Corey Rummel won the second of the year. So these two are the only 2 racing winners we have had on this tour, and that's going to continue after this race. Will Corey Rummel get revenge and beat Monster Mutt, or will Monster Mutt and Charlie Pauken continue the domination here in racing and his recent success over Megalodon? We have green. Corey Rummel going very high up on the berm. That's going to slow his time down a little bit. Will Charlie Pauken be able to stay smooth? He gets up on 2 wheels, heading to the ramp. He still has a lead, though, as Corey Rummel has had his issues as well. Definitely not a clean race. The final turn decides it all, and Monster Mutt has won it again, as Charlie Pauken is going to the winner's circle for the second time of 2022, and again continuing his recent success against Corey Rummel. A huge win for Charlie Pauken, who continues to add on to his points total here on the tour. The next competition here in this Monster Jam event in San Diego is the Skills Challenge. These drivers can either do 2 moves on 2 wheels or 1 donut. Starting us off, this is Axe. Preston Perez going for a stoppie here. A bit of a surprise. Preston Perez hasn't done those very much. A nice first move for the Axe Monster truck. Axe, a member of Team Scream. This is originally going to be piloted by Chris Kohler, but Preston Perez doing a bicycle and a nice 2 moves for Axe, and that's going to get him a 6.543. Coming out second, that is Zombie. Bari Musauer behind the wheel of this Zombie Monster Jam truck. He's getting the fans going with their zombie arms, as he does before every single competition he is in. That has become his trademark, and it's honestly, it's really impressive to me because when he goes and does this, the fans know what to do, which is really interesting to me. Almost every person in the section that he's in front of starts doing the zombie arms. It's a really cool thing. If you want to see it yourself, you got to get out to a Monster Jam show. There is nothing much better than going to a Monster Jam show in person. There really isn't. Other than watching my commentaries, you're never going to get better content than watching a Monster Jam show live. Trust me, the thrill, the adrenaline, it's better than anything you'll ever experience in your life. Zombie lining up for his first hit, going for the jammer. Moosehour loves doing slap wheelies, and that's exactly what he does. A slap wheelie, walking it down the track. A good first hit. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't too long, but it was very well executed, and it should get him some points. Moosehour has spent a lot of years in the arenas. He was on a lot of triple threat tours in the arena setting where he was forced to do wheelies. Didn't really get into the stoppy thing, so sky wheelies and slap wheelies have really become Zombie's trademark at this point in the skills competition. Doesn't get him tons of points, but it certainly is exciting to watch. Lining up for the jammer there on the other side of the track. A nice sky wheelie there and dragging another slap wheelie. So Zombie and a nice little combo there with another wheelie. So, and putting it into a stoppy. Oh my! A nice three-part move for Zombie. You kept thinking it's over, but it wasn't. Zombie takes the lead with a 7.170. Next up, we have Craig Champion and El Toro Loco. Now, Craig Champion and El Toro Loco in Oakland last week had some really good skills competitions. This man loves to do wheelies, so you can count on him to do wheelies pretty much every single show he's in. It is just something he's really good at. Can grab himself some points here in San Diego as he comes out third. Again, the lead is a 7.170. That is Zombie that we just saw. Champion lining up for the same ramp that Bari Moosehour just did to end off his skills run. Popping it into a slap wheelie. He is not letting off the gas. That truck is flying, doing barrel rolls, and on all four wheels, El Toro Loco with the move of the year so far. Oh my goodness. Craig Champion and El Toro Loco with an 8.977. Your well-deserved new leader. Craig Champion going all out there. He never lifted, just went full bore. I mean, he might have been going for a front flip there. That truck just flipping around. What a move. El Toro Loco is your new leader. Next up here in the skills competition is Soldier Fortune. That is Caleb Blood behind the wheel. Now, unfortunately, with what El Toro Loco did, he will not be able to compete in the freestyle competition. Truck is just a little too broken, but still, what a way to go out. Soldier Fortune lining up to do a donut here. Now, again, you can either do two moves on two wheels or one donut. She is opting to do the donut, a safe bet to get about in the middle of the pack, but she is on her lid. Soldier Fortune not going to take home a win tonight. It's a 6.584. Not enough for the lead. Next up, backing out of his parking spot, that is Michael Christensen in Vendetta. Now, Michael Christensen, son of longtime Max D driver Craig Christensen and longtime Monster Truck driver Craig Christensen. Continuing on the family legacy here as he is a driver on Stadium Tour Yellow. Nice to see him getting on a Stadium Tour, the first time he has ever been on one. Now, a lot of the independents definitely struggle in the skills competition. They typically are doing sky wheelies or slap wheelies. It's not bad, but it's definitely not the same level that we see from guys like Ryan Anderson or Tyler Meniga that are doing bicycles or stoppies. It's definitely a different thing for these independent drivers. Lining up for a slap wheelie hit, and he gets it, dragging that tail. Another similar to Zombie slap wheelie there. Now, the reason why the independents tend to struggle is because in these independent shows that they drive at most of the year, the tracks aren't designed to do stoppies. Most of them you really can only do sky wheelies or slap wheelies, so that's why they're good at it. They don't get much practice doing those stoppies like these felt drivers get to do, so that's why they're at a bit of a disadvantage. And now, as I say that, Vendetta lining up for a stoppie, but again, that lack of practice just hurts him there as he can't quite get anything doing on that second hit. Vendetta finishes in last here with a 3.962, an unfortunate break for Mike Christensen. Now another independent here, Jim Kohler, an Avenger man who has had a lot of practice in the skills competition, but still trying to learn his way to make the best moves possible. Going for a sky wheelie off of the log there. Jim Kohler, an Avenger, Mr. Excitement. Everyone loves to watch this man because you never know what he's going to do when he hits the track. heading for the backside of the racing lane, and another sky wheelie, getting fairly vertical on that one. A much better second hit than the first. It's not enough for the lead. It's a 6.071. Now, coming out a little early in the skills competition is Ryan Anderson and Son of a Digger, and the reason for that is because this skills competition is set up in reverse order of how you finish in racing. So if you get knocked out first in racing, you're coming out first in the skills competition. Ryan Anderson was knocked out in the second round by Tyler Menninga, so a little bit of an early entrance here in the skills competition from arguably the best skills driver here. Ryan Anderson's been talking all year how he wants to at one point do a bicycle around the stadium. Let's see if he can do it on the racing lane. A nice bicycle. He can't quite get it too far though, but a nice first hit as Son of a Digger, as usually does, gets a nice bicycle. Ryan Anderson now lining up for his second hit here. Lining up for the same ramp that we saw Craig Champion almost do a front flip on. So who knows what Ryan Anderson's going for here. Popping it into a slap wheelie. Oh my, he almost went for the combo there. I think he wanted to go for a little bit of hit the brakes and maybe pop it into a stoppie on the top of the pad. Couldn't quite get that. Son of a Digger will not take the lead. It is a 7.905. El Toro Loco still sitting at the top with an 8.977. However, another truck with horns. It is Jurassic Attack. Maybe Paul Jensen can take this lead away from the other truck with horns, El Toro Loco. He is going for a donut. Going to be tough to beat. You need to do a really good donut to take the lead here. Really getting that truck spinning. And while that was a good donut, it is not enough for him to grab that lead. It's a 6.789. Nonetheless, though, good run from Jurassic Attack. Next up, another very underrated skills driver. This is Camden Murphy in the Bakugan Dragonoid. Camden Murphy has really mastered doing the stoppie. He's trying to work on other moves, but you can pretty much count on him to do a stoppie every time. Nice stoppie attempt here on the front two wheels, moonwalking it. Gonna try to go back up the ramp, gotta give it some gas. He can't quite walk it all the way up the ramp, but still a good first hit for the Dragonoid. But it's gonna be very difficult to beat what El Toro Loco did. While it was only one move, he still didn't get the highest score, but I mean, the wow moment, it's hard to beat. You need to have two really great moves. It's difficult to get over a 9 in the skills competition. It simply is. History has proven that. And Craig Champion had an 8.977. You're going to need to have one of the better skills runs you ever put down. Camden Murphy going on the side of the truck here, flipping over, and Dragonoid is on its lid. An interesting second move there. Not enough for the lead. It's an 8.669, which puts him in second place. Now another guy like Bari Musawwir, who has had a lot of experience in arenas. This is Tyler Menninga in Gravedigger. Tyler Menninga, arguably the inventor of the stoppie, the long form stoppie, I should say. Originally held the record for the world's longest monster truck stoppie. Did it for a minute long. So we know this guy feels comfortable on the front two wheels, showing it off here a little bit. Stoppie and a moonwalk, reversing it, comboing it into a wheelie. A 3-move combo and walking it down the ramp. Now Gravedigger, that is a fantastic first hit. Wasn't super flashy, but man, was that smooth. And like I said, that's that experience doing the two-wheel competition 4 to 5 times a weekend in a very small venue. You've got to figure out what you can do that changes up the pace. And boy, Gravedigger changed it up right there. Flying good. Still got one hit left, and he's trying to take that lead away from El Toro Loco. After that first move, he's still going to need a really great second one if he wants to snag that lead away from Craig Champion. It's not going to be easy to do, but we will see if he can do it. If anyone's going to do it out of the drivers remaining, it is this man right here. Not many trucks left here in the skills competition. Lining up for his second hit, going for a stoppie. Moonwalking it back towards the ramp, up the ramp. Can he get it all the way up? He will not get it all the way up, and he will walk it back down. Moonwalking it back up the ramp, and he gets it up. Moonwalking it on top of the pad and setting it down. Two great moves from Gravedigger, and it will take the lead at a 9.589. Tyler Menninga, the first one to grab it out of Craig Champion's hands. And what a run it was. But next up, it's Corey Rummel and Megalodon. That lead from Tyler Menninga may not last too long. Going for a stoppie here. Walking it back and forth on those front two wheels. Megalodon balancing that shark, and a good first move, but he still has one more to do, and the bar is now even higher at a 9.5, almost a 9.6. Going to be very tough to beat. Going for a stoppie, Megalodon on the front two wheels. Moonwalking it back towards the ramp. He gets it up the ramp. A fairly good move again for Megalodon. The score is only a 7.459, so the fans didn't love it that much. Still a good run, but it's not going to get him tons of points. And now we have your last competitor here in the skills competition. It is Charlie Pauken in Monster Mutt. If he doesn't win, the win goes to Gravedigger. If Monster Mutt wins, he's got a double down already in search of a triple down. So let's see what he can do. On the front two wheels, Pauken, a former Gravedigger driver. He did a lot of stoppies in his Gravedigger truck. And now moonwalking towards the ramp and driving it back up the ramp in reverse and comboing it into a wheelie. So another 3-move hit. Monster Mutt off to a good start. That is a good first move. If he can follow it up with a good second one, we might have a close race here for the win. Charlie Pauken had some success in the skills competition last week. Most of his success came from racing. Going for a bicycle. Walking it into the turn and setting it down. Monster Mutt, a great second move. However, it is not enough to win it. It is an 8.892, meaning that your skills winner is Tyler Menninga in Gravedigger. Now, we find ourselves in the freestyle competition. And starting us off here tonight, with 2 minutes on the clock, as all of these trucks will, to do whatever they want, it is Mike Christensen in Vendetta. The track is theirs. They can do anything right here on this track. Mike Christensen going over the racing lane. This is his first appearance here in San Diego, as is the case for a lot of drivers here in this field. Also, Vendetta itself's first appearance here. Mike Christensen, as I mentioned before, an independent driver. He's had a lot of driving time outside of Monster Jam for those that don't follow the independent circuit. I actually got to see him at the Arizona State Fair in 2019, which was pretty cool. Very pretty truck. I love the body design. It's just a gorgeous look. And he's always good for 2 minutes. He doesn't always get the wow moments, but he fills the clock, and that's what these independents are there for, and a lot of these drivers are there for. Getting some nice air. Biggest hit of the run so far. Another nice sky wheelie. Mike Christensen whipping it into a donut here. And a nice one, a cyclone for Vendetta. Still plenty of time on the clock. Now, week one was not very kind to Mike Christensen in Oakland. He made it to round 2 in racing. That was about it. His other competitions were certainly not spectacular. We will see if he can right the ship here this weekend in San Diego. Going for a sky wheelie off the jammer and dragging a nice slap wheelie. He did that in the skills competition. Nice to see him sprucing it up here in freestyle with another one of those moves. Now lining up for the front flip ramp, as I'm going to call it, because that's what Craig Champion almost did. Every time anyone hit that, we thought they were just going to go for a front flip. Mike Christensen didn't do that, obviously, but he will set it down on the top of the pod and end his run. So Mike Christensen in Vendetta, a solid start to the freestyle competition. The score is a 6.066. Now, we have Jurassic Attack. I'm sorry for the audio. Happens every once in a while. My GoPro will have its problems where the audio is just strange, but it's only for this freestyle, so don't worry. And it's not even the entire run. It's just for part of it. But this is Paul Jensen here in the Jurassic Attack following up his teammate Mike Christensen, both members of the Team Throttle Monster Truck Group. Paul Jensen, normally the driver of Kamikaze, but driving his chassis here with this Jurassic Attack truck. Paul Jensen has never been in San Diego before, and it is also Jurassic Attack's first time ever in San Diego. Going for some nice air off of the jammer, landing it on top of the pod. A nice little launch there onto the center. We're going to see a lot of those tonight. That ramp, those ramps on either sides, the jammers, they really lend for a lot of big air and a lot of transfers onto that center of the track. Paul Jensen gave us the first taste of that tonight. Now, you might see where he is right now. That backflip ramp is actually a part of that racing berm. It's very interesting the way that they did that. The first time they've done that on this track, while it's only ran a couple of times. But certainly very interesting to see them do that. We're going to have the audio cut in here for a sec, so watch out for your ears. We are going to hear the truck. There you go. There's Jurassic Attack. And there goes the audio again. I'll warn you so that you can prepare your ears for a couple of seconds, because it's going from me talking over nothing to, me talking over monster trucks. And another nice transfer there. Jurassic Attack, certainly the momentum in the air a little bit higher than we saw from Vendetta already. We are going to be having the audio come back here in a second, which is thrilling. And of course, Jurassic Attack has been shut down. We'll see if he can refire. And that will be the end of the run. So Jurassic Attack is done. Unfortunately, he could not get quite past it, but it's the first time he got a score in the freestyle competition this year. He did not complete the required time last week. As Jim Kohler Avenger comes out and announces his presence with a nice leap over the center ramp, but Jurassic Attack took the lead with a 6.768. Jim Kohler, the man on the track now, getting some nice air over the racing lane. You never know what you're going to see Avenger do when he's out there. Jim Kohler has been in this venue 2 times. Nice air, nice transfer there to the center of the track. He has specifically been in Petco Park twice. 2018 and 2019 he was here. Had some good shows. But now he brings a 25th anniversary tour here. And first time back since 2019. Jim Kohler loves to get big air. Last week in Oakland, he was having trouble with those transfers. He was kind of undershooting them and landing a little hard on the backside of the truck, and it was certainly causing him some problems. Man, do I love this track. This track is just, it's beautiful. It is so good for freestyle. The skills competition's great. Racing is a lot of fun. This might be the best Monster Jam track we've had since the 2018 track, which to me was one of the better ones we've had all time. Another nice transfer there. They kind of made it so that the ramps that they're jumping from onto the center of the track are a little bit higher, so that it's a lot harder to kind of case the truck in there in a hard way. 30 seconds are left on the clock for Avenger as he tries to take the lead away from the Jurassic Attack. Looks like he might have lost rear steer there. Another nice little leap over the racing lane. It's still nothing special, but we know Jim Kohler, he loves to go big at the end of the run, so let's see if he's got something in store for his last hit or two. Time winding down. He's got about 1 move left. He's going to cross-thread it over the racing lane, and that's going to be it for Avenger. It is a 6.818 for Jim Kohler. It still will take the lead, but that is not a great score. Next up is Axe. This is Preston Perez. Preston's first ever appearance in San Diego. It is also Axe's first ever appearance in San Diego. Now, as I mentioned in the skills competition, Perez is in here. I wouldn't say filling in for Chris Kohler, but this was supposed to be Chris Kohler's spot on the tour, but he could not commit to a full tour, so here Preston Perez is getting his first ever stadium tour. Former driver for Vodders Motorsports, got to drive the higher education for a couple of years. He's driven a lot of those Vodders trucks, some iconic trucks, so he's gotten plenty of seat time. So far, getting some nice air, filling the run with good flow, good momentum. Oh boy, getting a little bit of trouble as the truck ends up on its side, and X is going to be done right there. That'll be a 6.079, not enough for the lead. Next up, it is the Big Shark. This is Megalodon as Corey Rummel will enter the track, and really the first big hitter we've had here in the freestyle competition so far. Lines up for the Jammer to start off his run. 2 minutes are up on the clock. Now, Corey Rummel has been in San Diego plenty. This is his actual 4th appearance here. He was in San Diego in 2016, 2018, 2019, and in 2020. So he was really a regular here in this ballpark. No stranger to these San Diego fans. Getting some nice air, transferring it again off of that Jammer. And Megalodon has also been here 3 times, a couple of them from Corey Rummel driving it. Rummel, wow, nice air, launching it over that center pod. Now, Corey Rummel back in 2018 when he was driving the Pirates Curse truck here, he actually had himself a very special moment. He almost did a front flip. It was one of the signature moments of the year in Monster Jam. What an incredible moment that was, and what a show that was. 2018 San Diego was one of the best Monster Jam shows ever. Tom Meents did a power flip. It was spectacular. I'll never forget waking up that next morning on Sunday morning, looking at the results and the highlights. I was like, oh my God, what happened last night? The commentary for that was rich. You should go watch it. Actually, you can, if you want to watch it, there's a link on screen right now. Corey Rummel lining up for the backflip. Here, the first attempt of the night. A little under-rotated, stuffs it in on the nose. Can he save it? Oh, no, he can't. He is up against the dumpsters. Megalodon will take the lead, though, in 9.325, so the first heavy hitter of the night sets up a heavy hitter score. That'll bring in Soldier Fortune. This is Kayla Blood, flipped over in the skills competition doing a donut. Setting herself up here for the racing lane. Starts her run off with a nice hit. Kayla Blood's first time here in San Diego. Soldier Fortune, however, has been in San Diego before, 2017. Soldier Fortune's second year in Monster Jam, made an appearance here in San Diego. That was piloted by Chad Fortune, if I'm correct. Going for the Jammer. Now, Kayla is a very, very highly touted driver entering this year. Her first Monster Jam stadium tour. She got a couple of stadium shows last year, so a lot of fans really happy to see her get her ability to spread her legs. She spent most of her career in the arenas, so this is a really big deal for her to get her chance and be on a stadium tour. And so far, the first weekend in Oakland definitely saw those sea legs starting to grow out. Some growing pains there, but still some more time for her to have a good rest of the year. Plenty of shows left, especially with a lot of these events have 2 shows a weekend. She is going to avoid that front flip ramp, and she is lining up for the mini flip. Let's see if she can land it. First attempt of the night on the mini flip. And a little weird rotation in the air, and Soldier Fortune is done. It's an 8.898, which will sit her in second place. That is not enough for her to take the lead tonight. Freestyling next year in San Diego, a man who tends to have a lot of success here in these California shows. This is Camden Murphy in the Bakugan Dragonoid. You may remember he flipped over in the skills competition, so that body's got a little bit of damage on it. Coming right out of the gate, getting those RPMs up, waking the fans up for any that have fallen asleep somehow. And his 2 minutes are on the clock. Camden Murphy has been in Petco Park twice, once in 2019, once in 2020. Both in this Bakugan Dragonoid truck. His first year in stadiums was 2019, so he's been in San Diego every single year he has been on a stadium tour because San Diego didn't have a show in 2021. This is the first San Diego show since 2020. So Camden Murphy has been in San Diego every year of his career. A little nice save there. However, some truck problems. He locked up a planetary on the truck, so his run is done. The Bakugan Dragonoid's run is complete. Unfortunately, a tough break for the Dragonoid. The score, it's a low one. It's a 5.962. Next up, we have Monster Mutt. This is Charlie Balkin. Starting off on the racing lane, getting some nice air. Balkin has been in San Diego a lot. He's been in San Diego every year since 2016, 2021 not included. Hitting the other racing lane. Oh man, and he breaks that front left wheel and his run is done. Monster Mutt will not complete the time. That is a 0 points for Monster Mutt, unfortunately. If you don't complete 30 seconds on the clock, then you are ineligible for a score. So Monster Mutt, a rough break, as Charlie Balkin might have been able to win the overall event championship, but that just completely destroyed his hopes. Now here's Zombie. You can see the fans in the top left corner doing the zombie arms. This is Barney Musauer. Zombie and Barney Musauer. His first time ever competing here at Petco Park. Good for him. Nice little milestone. Definitely a big venue. A lot of drivers love this place. Definitely a bucket list for a lot of drivers. It's also Zombie's second time here. Competed here in 2020. Trying to think of the driver that was here in 2020. Was that Richie Yatsko? That might have been Richie Yatsko back in 2020 in Zombie. Musauer starts off his run on the jammer. I think that it was either Richie Yatsko or Travis Mowry. I think that's Richie Yatsko and Zombie, though, that year. That's really funny. Zombie, nice air off the racing lane. Musauer, always one of the more underrated drivers in Monster Jam. To me, he and Corey Rummel are the most underrated drivers in the sport, and both of them are competing on the same stadium tour. Nice tail-dragging slap wheel there. Musauer's also been a guy who's never really gotten the real credit he deserves. I mean, big air. He never really got the chance to be on a stadium tour until 2021. I mean, 2021 was the first stadium tour he was on since 2016. He was in the arenas for 4 years. A guy who loves to do these great big freestyles. He's one of the best drivers in the sport, and he was stuck in arenas. Nice air, huge air there. Some of the biggest of the night. I mean, he always puts down a 2-minute freestyle. He always gets big air. He gets the wow moments, and he's also a really good racer. Oh my, what a sky wheelie. The truck didn't break on that either. That's a testament to how that truck's put together. Kudos to his crew chief for keeping that truck intact. More big air. Mari is flying. This has been a really good run so far. To me, this is certainly poised to take the lead. Current leader is Megalodon at 9.325, but you gotta believe Mari's gonna have to do a backflip if he wants to take the lead here in San Diego. He's got less than 30 seconds to do so. Hitting the jammer. Time is winding down. If he's gonna do a backflip, now is the time. He probably only has time to just do that. And here we go, lining up for the backflip. He hits it, and he lands it. Truck is intact, time is up. A perfect backflip at the perfect time, and Zombie will take the lead with a 9.634, meaning that your new leader here in freestyle is Barney Musauer. However, that might not last too long, because next up in the freestyle competition is Ryan Anderson in Son of a Digger. Ryan Anderson competed in San Diego in 2015, 19, and 20. His experience in San Diego dates back further than any driver. He was in San Diego, competed in San Diego before any other driver in this field, 2015 earliest, and his 2 minutes are on the clock. Nice air. You always got to watch out for Ryan Anderson. You never know what this guy's going to do on the track. One of the most ragged edge monster truck drivers in the history of the sport, and arguably one of the best drivers, if not the best driver to ever be in a monster truck. Ryan Anderson, as I said, now in his 4th time competing in San Diego. When you compete in a venue, a lot of times you get used to the way the dirt is. because the dirt is different everywhere. It's not like they get the same dirt from the same dirt fields. You know, that yellow dirt doesn't grow everywhere. It grows differently. And massive air off of that front flip ramp. Wow, that was sick air from Ryan Anderson. Overall, it's probably some of the most unexpected air of the night. I didn't know you can get that much air off of that ramp. He flew off of that. Yeah, so you get used to the dirt. That's just how it happens. Every track, the dirt's a little bit different because it's sourced from different places. And he is flying right now. If he can fill the clock, land a backflip, Bari Musauer, you're out of that hot seat, my friend. I'm sorry. You had a nice run for one run. Oh my goodness, sending it, completely cleared that center pod from hitting the log. I mean, that is unbelievable. I mean, Ryan Anderson is just, the things he can do in a monster truck, it blows my mind. This guy is just, he's the most talented person to ever sit in the seat of a monster truck. Oh boy, a little bit on the side, but Ryan Anderson making it look pretty. Just unbelievable. It blows my mind what Ryan Anderson's capable of doing. And now he's lining up for the mini flip. Oh, and another weird rotation. I guess it's something with the mini flip. It is not designed correctly here. And that's going to cost him. It's only a 9.049. Honestly, that should have been higher than Megalodon, but who am I to judge? I was judging. I gave my input. You can too. But last but not least, we have the man who has won the first 2 freestyle competitions of the year. He's undefeated so far in freestyle. It's Tyler Menninga in Gravedigger, making his first ever appearance right here at Petco Park. Now, the Gravedigger truck has obviously been at Petco Park every single year it's been here, as Gravedigger is at every single show ever. Well, that's not true, but most shows. I would love to see a list of all shows in which Gravedigger has not competed, because it can't be very long. That's up to you, Phil, and Cadence. Cadence, who's probably watching, I need you to, let me know about that. And then this way I can know that you're watching. Tyler Menninga starting off the 2 minutes. The last freestyler of the night, so it's either going to be Bari Musauer or Tyler Menninga. I mean, Bari Musauer would love to win the first freestyle competition for himself of the year, but Tyler Menninga in a good spot to win 3 in a row here. You throw down a good run, I mean, it's all his. The score is going to be tough to beat because a 9.6 is almost impossible to beat, but Tyler Menninga got a 9.8 in freestyle last week, so it's always possible. Nice slap wheelie. Oh my, big air. This track just lends itself to some hang time, and you gotta love it. Looks like he might have broken a sway bar there too. Truck's starting to lean to the right. Menninga in his first full year on a stadium tour here in 2021. It's going to be exciting to see what he can do, because I honestly have a feeling deep inside that at the end of this year, everyone's going to be saying the same thing I am. Tyler Menninga is the best Gravedigger driver in the sport. Nice air as the nose comes flying off. I mean, just what this kid can do. The fact that we're seeing him, we always knew he was one of the best drivers in the sport in just arenas, but now that he's getting the chance to fly out in stadiums, I mean, it's spectacular what he does every week. And we've only seen, this is only the 3rd freestyle in a stadium we've seen in 2022. I mean, we've obviously seen a lot of stadium shows, but he's finally developed into the driver that everyone knows he can be. And the truck's been shut off. They will refire him, though. Finish off his run. He's got a little less than 30 seconds left, so it's close to me. He and Musauer are fairly on similar playing fields here. I don't think Tyler has really done much more than Bari in order to grab that win here. He is lining up for the backflip. You need to complete this if you're Tyler, and he does. The backflip is completed, not nearly as cleanly as Bari Musauer's and Zombie. But now Tyler just has a couple of seconds left to do whatever he can to try and solidify a win. It's going to be tight, though. This is definitely down to the wire, just throwing the truck around. And that is going to do it. Tyler Menninga in Gravedigger is done. It will not be enough for the win as Bari Musauer snags his first freestyle win of the year. Congratulations to Bari. A huge victory there in the Zombie. Now, We have one more show, the Sunday show, the Sunday afternoon show in San Diego. Let's get right into it. We started off with racing round number 1. We started off with Son of a Digger and Jurassic Attack as Ryan Anderson looks to come out here and snag his second racing win of the year. Bit of a different angle. I was not at this show, so we had to get it from someone else. Ryan Anderson with a fairly big lead over Jurassic Attack here. Going to the final turn, and it is all Ryan Anderson, and Jurassic Attack's on his lid. That's the second time Paul Jensen's had trouble in racing. He has really struggled. Now the next race here in round number 1, we have Mike Christensen and Vendetta taking on Bari Musauer and Zombie. Musauer fresh off that freestyle win last night. Hoping to continue that with some racing magic here today. So far, pretty close race. Musauer slight edge going to the final turn. And Musauer will barely win that one. Zombie heading on to the next round. Next race in round number 1, we have Caleb Blood and Soldier Fortune taking on Jim Kohler in Avenger. Not nearly as many fans here in this Sunday show as there were Saturday night. It was a sold-out crowd Saturday in San Diego. Always nice to see at a Monster Jam event. We don't get tons of those these days. Used to be all the time. Jim Kohler, though, a bit of a mistake on the berm. Almost lost the race right there. He might have lost the race right there. We'll have to wait and find out. Caleb Blood is certainly capitalizing. She's got a lead. Final turn will determine the race. Caleb Blood with a mistake in the final turn, but it is not enough for Jim Kohler to come back and take a win. She moves on. Final race of round 1. We have the Dragonoid. That is Camden Murphy. The far lane, Preston Perez in Axe. 2 red trucks going head-to-head here in round number 1. Preston Perez, a little small mistake after the berm, and that might cost him here, especially against a guy that's as good as Camden Murphy. It's going to be really hard to beat, and Camden has a dominating lead here in this final turn, and Camden Murphy can just take it easy. One of the easiest wins he will have of his career right there, as Preston Perez just could not quite figure out the track here on Sunday. We go to round number 2. Ryan Anderson is in the far lane and Son of a Digger. Tyler Menninga in the near lane and Gravedigger. Tyler Menninga is now on the far side of the track as we're watching him in the turn. A rematch of last night's round 2 race, and Ryan Anderson lost that one. He is trying to come back and grab it here tonight. Both of these guys are driving hard. It is a close finish, but your winner is Gravedigger. Tyler Menninga getting it in back-to-back days. Now we have Monster Mutt, Charlie Palkin taking on Zombie, Bari Musauer. Charlie Palkin won racing last night. He is looking to win back-to-back racing competitions. But Bari Musauer's giving him a run for his money. The final turn is going to determine the race. And Bari Musauer pulling out a huge win, beating Charlie Palkin and moving on to the semifinals. Now Caleb Blood has a tough battle as she will face Corey Rummel and Megalodon. This would be one of the biggest wins of her career if she could win this one. It would send her off to the semifinals as well. And you know Corey Rummel wants to go out there and win because he still hasn't won a racing competition this year, but Soldier Fortune has a small lead. Coming down to the final jump, it is close. Soldier Fortune crossed the line first, but she had a 5-second penalty, so Megalodon wins the race. And now the final race of round number 2. In the near lane, Craig Champion, El Toro Loco swinging wide off the berm. And then we have Camden Murphy in the Bakugan Dragonoid as well. Craig Champion, first time competing since his wild move in the skills competition last night. But Camden Murphy is going to make sure there is nothing else exciting here in racing as Dragonoid is going to the semifinals. Now we are in the semifinal round. Tyler Menninga and Gravedigger, Bari Musauer and Zombie. Tyler Menninga's racing weekend has been by no means clean, but he's gotten points. That's all that matters. So Bari Musauer looking really fast tonight. Wouldn't be shocked if he goes out there and wins the racing competition, but it's not going to happen because Tyler Menninga just shut that down and beat him, went on to the final round. Now, Corey Rummel and Megalodon takes on Camden Murphy in the Bakugan Dragonoid. Corey Rummel loves to just drag around that berm. He gets a nice drift up there. Gets him a little bit of speed entering that first turn. It is not working right now, though. He's a little bit behind the Dragonoid truck. Heading to the final jump. It's close. Wow, what a close finish. But your winner is Camden Murphy in the Bakugan Dragonoid, who now takes on Tyler Menninga in the final round. The winner of this race is your racing champion tonight. Tyler Menninga has not been clean all night long. Camden Murphy's been bad fast, but Camden Murphy is having problems. The truck gets stuck in the corner, and that means that Tyler Menninga in Gravedigger, crossing the line right now, has won racing for the first time of 2022. Congratulations to Tyler Menninga in Gravedigger. It went Charlie Pauken, Ryan Anderson, Charlie Pauken, and now Tyler Menninga, the third racing winner of the year, and he's going to celebrate with an extra jump. Oh my, and he is rolling over. Okay. Gravedigger's on his lid after winning racing. That is not what he wanted to do. Now we go to the skills competition, and this is Paul Jensen in the Jurassic Attack. Starting us off with a donut. Again, if you need a refresher on how the competition works, you can either do a donut or two moves on two wheels. And Jurassic Attack, well, he ended up on his lid. A crazy move with a 7.065. Now that beautiful Vendetta is on the track. He's going for skills. Going for a slap wheelie, it looks like, and he gets it. Solid. Very funny to compare the two videos between my video and this guy's video, because my video I've got a lot more time before and after the runs, where this guy's just right to the point. It's a lot more fast-paced, which I don't mind. It kind of speeds up the commentary a bit too. Instead of having a 2-hour-long commentary, it's only an hour and a half. There's going to be a lot of long ones this year. It's a lot of two-show weekends on the stadium tours. And make sure you come back tomorrow, because tomorrow you can see these shows from San Antonio, where Stadium Tour Red made their season debut. Vendetta lining up for his second hit, trying to take down his teammate Jurassic Attack. Going for a stoppie, and Mike Christensen. Well, he's not going to take the lead. It's a 6.494, but still a fun run for Mike Christensen. Next up, this is Jim Kohler in Avenger. What's he doing here? Interesting, he might be going for a stoppie. Jim Kohler, you dirty, dirty boy. He's going for a stoppie. Puts it down on the front two wheels. Oh, truck couldn't quite... I don't know if he tried to go in reverse or if the truck just locked up there, but couldn't go into reverse. It's still a nice stoppie for Avenger. Best move we've seen so far, although Jurassic Attack's donut was very nice. Lining up now for the backside of the racing lane. Sky wheelie time for Avenger. A nice sky wheelie. That'll put him in last at the moment with a 6.172. I don't know, that was a pretty good run. I like that. Next up, it's Preston Perez and Axe going for another stoppie like he did last night. A solid move. These Avenger trucks, though, for some reason, they can't quite shift into reverse. And another bicycle from Axe. I mean, Preston Perez, he's nailing these moves. He takes the lead with a 7.679. That'll bring out Ryan Anderson and Son of a Digger again, having to come out fairly early because he got knocked out earlier than he wanted to in racing. Another second round exit. He goes for the bicycle. Son of a Digger riding the bicycle into the turn. He's not going to get into the turn. He saves that thing off the sidewalls. A good first move for Son of a Digger. So again, he was mentioning that he wanted to get it all the way around the track at one point this year. Couldn't quite do that there. Couldn't quite do it in San Diego, so we'll see what he could do next week. I'm just happy to be doing weekly commentaries again. I think I'm just going to stick to the commentaries anyway. I like these more. Going for the front flip pod, and he's going to walk it up the ramp. I don't know what he was trying to do there, but it was a nice combo. I like it. It was fun to watch, and it takes the lead at a 9.103. So Son of a Digger clearly impressing the judges, which are the fans. Next up here in the skills competition, Charlie Pauken and Monster Mutt. It's kind of funny, on Saturday he wins racing, and then on Sunday he always comes in the second round. That's what happened in the first two weekends. A nice stoppie here for Monster Mutt. Walking that thing, dancing it. He's going to moonwalk it now and set her down and then try and go a little bit backwards over the step up. I guess you could call that a step up. That move obviously doesn't count. That was just him transferring. Last week in Oakland, he won racing and then got knocked out. I believe it was in the second round as well, and I actually think it might have been Nabari Musauer. So, very similar exits and very similar results for Charlie Pauken so far this year. Not sure, I don't know, it's pretty funny seeing a guy get, pretty much the exact same results the first two racing competitions. Going for a bicycle here. We've seen Charlie do this a couple times this year, and he's gotten that down a lot. Certainly a skill that he has improved a lot upon, and that's going to give him the lead. It's a 9.127. Charlie Pauken, how about that? Next up here in the skills competition, Kayla Blood and Soldier Fortune. She has struggled to get a lot of points here in this competition this year. Let's see what she can do. She's going to line up for the slap wheelie. Or maybe a sky wheelie. Going for the slap wheelie, but didn't execute it properly, so unfortunately that's going to be almost a lost hit for Soldier Fortune. Kayla Blood, another driver on this tour that spent her entire career in the arenas. As I mentioned, this is her first stadium tour, so her first chance to really let it all air out. Going for a stoppie here. She's done these plenty in the arenas. Never on a ramp like that, but still a nice move. But Soldier Fortune finds herself in last with a 6.075. Next up, Craig Champion in El Toro Loco. I'd be shocked if he hit that same ramp that he did last night. That would be a surprise. Oh, he's got smoke in there. How about that? I didn't know that Jim Kohler's trucks can have the smoke installed. That's incredible. I have a feeling El Toro Loco's run tonight's going to be fairly timid because of how much time and energy he had to put into it. Yeah, there's a nice sky wheelie there for El Toro Loco. Who knows? Maybe he'll go back for that ramp. I would be very surprised. Yeah, no, he's not going to go for that another day. Maybe another time in the tour, if that ramp is another option, he'll go for it again. But I mean, when you, especially as an independent, especially because it's not his truck, it's Jim Kohler's truck, Jim's probably like, hey, can we not, destroy the truck back-to-back days? But a nice run either way for El Toro Loco. It's a 6.215, which will lead us to the freestyle winner from last night, Bari Musauer and Zombie. Nice air off of that jammer, and he gets it into a slap wheelie. He had that thing in low, too. He was really going for it. Nice first hit for Zombie. Going for a slap wheelie on this side, too, and he got it. Two nice slap wheelies for Zombie, and the score is going to reflect the 7.865, puts him towards the top. Now it's Corey Rummel in Megalodon. I love these afternoon shows because it's daytime. We don't get many daytime stadium shows. Nice stoppie there for Megalodon, moonwalking it a little bit. And in the past, I mean, we rarely had two-show weekends in the stadium tour. It was the uncommon thing to have two shows in a weekend on a stadium tour. It was like, oh my gosh, we have two shows this weekend? What's going on? But now it's going to be every weekend because Monster Jam's trying to make up that revenue. But it's, we weren't used to it. Now here we are. We have it every weekend. It's become commonplace. It's weird to only have one show now. And, oh man, he couldn't quite hit the brakes in time. So Megalodon, a waste of a second hit there, unfortunately. Well, 5.351. That'll send us over to Camden Murphy and the Bakugan Dragonoid. Camden Murphy did pretty well in the racing competition, but couldn't figure it out in the final round. Don't know what happened with the truck, but, okay, he's clearly having power problems with the truck. The truck shut off twice in racing, and it just shut off there again as he went for the stoppie, and that's going to be it. It's a 4.723, which brings us to your racing winner as Tyler Menninga comes out in Gravedigger. He can double down here if he wins this competition. Looking to beat Charlie Pauken in Monster Mud, who is your current leader. Nice stoppie there, moonwalking it up the ramp and going for the combo, and he can't quite nail it. Did that combo last night, executed it perfectly on the step-up over there. Looks like the truck is having a little bit of starter problems or whatever it is. The truck's been shut off somehow, even though you can still see the lights. Unless he's just showing off, that's also possible. It's Tyler Menninga. has one hit left. That first hit's pretty good. We haven't had the best skills competition so far, so Tyler can easily win it here with another great move. 40th anniversary Gravedigger machine. You gotta love it. Tyler rocks it really well. I love that body. Like I said in the first show, it's very simple, but it's clean. It looks nice. Going for the racing lane for a bicycle. Tyler Menninga riding it on the right side. He's getting on the sidewalls. Ryan Anderson style. Make it Tom Meents style. Oh my goodness. What a move from Tyler Menninga. That'll win him the skills competition at a 9.722. How about that? We had move of the year last night with this man, Craig Champion, who's freestyling now. Big air. Goodness gracious. Craig Champion had move of the year last night, and Tyler Menninga might have just topped it, because that required a lot more skill. That was spectacular. Tyler Menninga, oh my gosh. Well, enough about Tyler Menninga. We'll be seeing that on replay, on highlight reels for years. But here's Craig Champion freestyling now. He's got 2 minutes, and he is sending it. My gosh. I did not know Craig Champion loved to fly around in that truck. I mean, last night he sent it in skills, now he's sending it in freestyle. I mean, I knew who Craig Champion was, but I didn't really know anything about him before this year, because I didn't really pay tons of attention to Monster Jam in 2020 and 2021. I just had a lot of other things on my plate. But now that I'm back and I'm fully invested, I mean, it's really cool. I mean, this guy's great. Every year, for those that follow Monster Jam, and even for those that don't religiously, Jim Kohler in the Avenger truck, he always brings 4 trucks out on tour. It's always Avenger, then Corey Rummel's chassis, then there's the 3rd chassis, and then there's the 4th chassis. The 3rd chassis, as Craig Champion is just sending it. Oh my gosh! This is spectacular. What a freestyle from El Toro Loco. I mean, the big air, this is the biggest air we've seen all weekend, and he's coming out first. That's what happens when you can't compete the night before. You get put in a spot that you don't really belong in, but this is phenomenal. So in the past, the 3rd truck used to be the Brutus chassis. That'd be Brad Allen's truck, and then they would always bring a 4th truck along, whether it be Kevin Crocker, or we saw Kevin King, we saw John Gordon, and it's always a different driver every year in you know, whatever that truck is. And this year it's Craig Champion. And I've got to say, I think Craig Champion's going to take the cake as the best, the single-handedly best 4th Team Scream driver we've ever had. This is phenomenal, what he's done so far. Talk about opening the show. It's a 7.365. I mean, if the fans knew how good that really was, that's more like an 8. That was fantastic. Now coming out second freestyle because he didn't get a score in the night before, this is Monster Mutt, Charlie Pauken. Now it's always interesting when you get a driver, especially with the way the format goes now, because freestyle is the reverse order of how you placed in the previous freestyle competition, right? So Charlie Pauken is a fantastic driver, but because he didn't fill the clock, he didn't fill the 30-second requirement, sorry, he got a 0, so he has to come out second. And it's always funny when you get those really good drivers that have to come out early because they either didn't finish their run really at all, or you know, they broke early, so they have to come out like 2nd or 3rd, and you know that they're going to have a fantastic run, or they're going to do a backflip or something. It's like, man, we're going to get a great run coming out 2nd. It's setting the bar really high for the rest of the show, which is always a good thing. That's why I love the format that they have for freestyle. Pauken right now, a good run so far. He is certainly having the air. I mean, Craig Champion's air, though, was just unmatched. We haven't seen air like that all weekend. That was the biggest air of the weekend in that freestyle. Which is unbelievable because, I mean, what Craig Champion did, he came out first. That was one of the best lead-off freestyles in a regular stadium show I think I've ever seen. It was definitely in the top 20 best lead-off freestyles I've ever witnessed. Oh my, big air over the racing lane. Pauken certainly is doing his best to try and top it. I wouldn't be shocked if he goes to the backflip, another early backflip. You gotta love when the early drivers do backflips. I remember when Jamie Garner came out a couple of years ago, I don't remember what show it was, but he came out in Overboard and he did a backflip in like the first truck out. And I was like, oh my gosh, the first truck did a backflip. This is awesome. And Monster Mutt going for some more big air off of the transfer. Oh boy, hard landing. I think in that show too, like the first 6 drivers backflipped or something. It was crazy. I think that might have set the record for most drivers in a row to backflip to start off a show. Now Manchamutt's going to go for the first one of the day here in San Diego. Right at the end of the time. Little over-rotated. Still going to help him out in the point department, though, as it is an 8.802. So, new leader and setting himself up right. Now here's Camden Murphy in the Dragonoid. Let's hope they got that truck fixed, because that was some bad technical gremlins that prevented him from winning a racing competition and really screwed him in the skills competition. So you know that Camden is looking to really make his mark here and take out his anger on this track. That's what the drivers do. You take out your anger. And it's the last show of the weekend, so destroy the truck. Who cares? Obviously, the crew guys care, but, you know, Camden doesn't have to worry about it. That's the great thing for these Feld drivers that not a lot of people realize compared to the independents. You know, when you say independents and Feld drivers, it's a really important distinction. Feld drivers don't have to work on their own trucks. That is big air over the racing lane. Now, I'm not saying Camden Murphy doesn't. I'm just saying in general as a whole, the Feld drivers aren't required to work on their own trucks, but the independent drivers, most of them are their own crew chiefs. Like, they work on their trucks. They build their trucks. So it's a big difference. It also leads to drivers driving harder. When you don't have to work on the truck that you're driving, you drive it in the ground. But when you know that if you destroy it, you got to spend 5 hours fixing it and pay the money to fix it, you know, it definitely turns you off from going full bore every single weekend. Now, some of those drivers will still go big every once in a while, but it's hard to do it consistently when you have to pay for the parts and you have to spend the time to fix the truck. But a guy like Camden Murphy, he doesn't have to pay for the truck. But he's certainly putting down a good freestyle, and I'd say if he, obviously the backflip now becomes a big factor because Charlie Palkin did it, but if he fills the clock, Murphy should probably take the lead. He might even take the lead without the backflip. His momentum has definitely slowed down a lot. The first half of the run was a lot better. Lining up for the backflip. We've got back-to-back runs with the backflip here. Over-rotates it a little bit, but the truck does not break. Holds together, goes it into a wheelie. Nice move from the Dragonoid. Wow. That's a really cool move. We don't see that very often. That's a really nice thing. That was almost like walking the plank, but he didn't walk it back to the backflip ramp. And he filled the clock. What a great run from the Dragonoid truck. Camden Murphy throwing down, takes the lead with a 9.223. How about that? Camden Murphy going big. You gotta love that. Now Mike Christensen and Vendetta's on the clock. Now he's an independent. He's got to pay for his own parts. He's got to work on his own truck. So because of that, he's not as inclined to go as big as Camden Murphy. I mean, he pays for every single part on that truck. And it's also really hard to come out after what Camden Murphy just did. That was a very good run. Honestly, to me, that run was underscored a little bit. I think that's more of a 9.3, maybe even a low 9.4. But a 9.223 is definitely a good score. Vendetta getting some nice air. He's really just doing everything he can at this point. It's also a fun little game to play. Guess when the independents are going to backflip? There's guys like Corey Rummel. Corey Rummel builds his truck. He can backflip. The truck doesn't get destroyed. Corey Rummel backflips frequently. He's one of the only independents that do. There aren't many. But, you know, a guy like Mike Christensen's probably going to hit the backflip ramp once this year. And we're going to be like, oh, my God, Mike Christensen just did a backflip. This is awesome. He did one in Glendale last year. It's fun when you get to see these guys do these cool moves that are, you know, they're here to fill the lineup out, you know, fill the clock and freestyle, just go out there and be show fillers. But they also, these are good drivers. They drive monster trucks for a living. They're, you know, they're just stacked up against some of the best in the world, and for some of them, it's hard to compete. But Mike Christensen, definitely one of the better independents in the sport. He's getting a chance to drive here on Stadium Tour Yellow. And as I mentioned in the first show, is son of Craig Christensen. Nice air, biggest air of the run from the Vendetta truck. And that's going to be the end of the run. Filled the clock. It's a 5.293. He's going to keep going for the fans. I miss the old days where the drivers would go for like 2 minutes after their run just until the truck would break, just for the fans. Next up, we have Axe. This is Preston Perez. Also an important note, Megalodon does not compete here in this competition, unfortunately. Preston Perez on the clock and Axe. So I would really love to see Preston do the backflip this year. I don't know if they'll let him because he's driving for Kohler. And he doesn't, obviously, you know, this isn't his truck. He's just driving in it for Jim Kohler. You never know. Jim Kohler might give him the green light one week and say, hey, Preston, go for the backflip. Big air, though. I'm impressed with what I've seen, though. I mean, for a kid who really, he was, I don't want to say he was a nobody, but he didn't do much in the arenas when he was there. I paid a lot of attention to the arena shows when he was in them. And he was very frequently on the bottom of the pack. But, you know, some drivers just can't really show their true form in the arenas. It's just a different setting. It's smaller, it's a lot more controlled. You can't really air the truck out. Some people are designed to air the truck out. It's like when Kristen Anderson got into stadiums for the first time. Just a different driver. And Preston, I'd say, is doing that. I mean, while by no means see Ryan Anderson right now, but he is significantly better in stadiums than he was in arenas. Whipping up a nice donut here. Throwback to the references where I would always give a donut name every time. That was fun. It was a glazed. Man, the throwbacks. The things that I used to say in some of these commentaries, it blows my mind. As I'm now older and, you know, slightly more mature, I say that as if it was, you know, 10 years ago. It was only like 2 years ago I was saying these things. Nice air from Perez. This Axe truck holds together really well. It's done a good job holding up. A lot of Kohler's trucks are just designed, so I'll go for a bicycle and freestyle, comboing it up. I mean, I will say this is a good run. This is better than average, and that's not a bad thing. That is a good thing for a guy like Preston Perez. That is a fantastic thing in his first year in stadiums. It's a 6.385. It's not going to light up the leaderboard, but it's still a good run. Next up, we have Paul Jensen. You can't tell what truck he's driving. That's supposed to be Jurassic Attack. All you're seeing from this side is Kamikaze, because that's the chassis. Oh, there's Jurassic Attack. Getting some nice air. Sounds like the truck's having some problems. There's some smoke blowing out of the motor, blue smoke, so that's never a good sign. The truck doesn't sound right either. I know they're using different exhausts, the Team Throttle Monster trucks are. But, I mean, the exhaust sounds a little bit different than the other trucks, but that truck is sputtering a lot. There's something wrong with that motor. He's like, well, the motor's going to die. Might as well just blow it up. Yeah, that truck's struggling big time. They clearly didn't fix it much after the skills competition when he flipped. But again, independence, like I said, it's you know, you break the truck, you can't always fix that. You know, why fix the truck? You still got another competition. It runs. That's all you need, is it for it to run. And it certainly runs. It's giving a free... I'm shocked the truck hasn't exploded yet. The engine's clearly not working right. And I think the engine just gave out. Let's see. Did the engine give out for good? Yes, it did. Alrighty. Here's Jim Kohler announcing his presence because he doesn't want me to announce the score of Jurassic Attack, which is 5.615. Jim Kohler in Avenger did not have a great freestyle in the first show. He was just kind of figuring out his way around the track. He never really could quite find the rhythm. He didn't really get that going at any point. So I'm hoping he has a good freestyle here tonight. I mean, anytime... Oh, my! Wow, that was huge air. Oh, boy. Oh, no. Oh, and Avenger is... Hit the brakes, Jim. Oh, gosh, that truck is done. Well, there goes that. Good run, though. It's a 7.647. That was exciting. A good way to end the run. That'll bring up Soldier Fortune. This is Kayla Blood. She is really looking for a breakout show here. She has still not found a rhythm. I will say she has not really had any competition so far where I would say, wow, that's she finally had a good competition. think she's having this. Does she have a broken sway bar in the back? The truck rear end's just flicking around. Oh no, shit, that back right wheel has no power. How did the run start with? How did no one notice that? Yeah, I was gonna say, does she have any rear wheel drive? She does, because that back left is spinning, but I don't think the back right is. The back right definitely isn't. Still getting nice air. Hey, there you go. Spin into a donut. Perfect. But again, a tough break. Oh my, big air. That might have just knocked that rear left wheel loose. Is that the end of the run? She's still got over a minute left on the clock. Let's see, can they get that truck started again? I mean, you already have a broken back right wheel. I think it might have just pulled the safety pin. But again, yeah, I mean, just a tough break for Kayla Blood. She has not been able to have a very good competition yet. The truck is just not cooperating with her. But again, like I said, she's still trying to get used to the stadium setting. It's not easy. It's not. It's not easy to just come in here and dominate in a stadium setting in your very first go of it. The truck refires, so Soldier Fortune's coming back. Still a minute left on the clock. So let's see, because that was a hard hit on that rear left. I want to see if that, you know, it does look like the rear left is spinning. And again, still no power on that back right wheel. Yeah, rear left has power, so she fortunately didn't completely lose rear wheel drive, which would have been terrible. But the truck is certainly pulling all around, and Soldier Fortune, can she save it? Oh my! What a save! We've had some crazy moves this weekend. San Diego, you deliver all the time. Whoa, what is that? Alrighty, Soldier Fortune on its lid. 8.572. What a night. This has been spectacular. Now it's time for Ryan Anderson and Son of a Digger. Just what, like, what? San Diego, just for whatever reason, has some of the craziest moves of the year. I don't know why, but it just always does. And 2022 San Diego, we have the El Toro Loco, whatever the heck Craig Champion did. We have Tyler Menninger doing some sick sidewalls and skills. And then Kayla Blood just had an awesome save. And now Ryan Anderson and Son of a Digger starts his run off with big air as always. And you know, every freestyle Ryan Anderson ever does is a walking highlight reel. I love how as the commentaries go on, and typically it's once we get into the second show of the commentary that I just start, like my adrenaline's going at this point. I go from being professional to I'm having a great time. Oh, he's going to put it into a stop, and he's moonwalking it. How about that, Ryan Anderson? I love you. I'm a lot more loose, I must say. I'm much more loose when I'm doing the second part of the commentary here, which is the second show, lining up for the front flip ramp, while he might not be doing a front flip. Oh my gosh, Ryan, calm down with this ramp. He's getting such big air on it. And he can really do it without worrying, because he knows he's never going to hit that center pod on one shot. It's just worrying about the rebound. My goodness, Ryan Anderson, you are a madman. It's just spectacular to see what Ryan can do in this truck. It's just, I could sit and watch Ryan Anderson freestyle for like 6 days straight and never get bored, ever. Like, he's spectacular. This man single-handedly can bring people to monster truck shows. You can have a show of one truck. It's just Son of a Digger. You will fill the stadium. Just have him freestyle 12 times in 12 different trucks. I don't care. It will fill the stadium. I would watch. I would fly. I would honestly probably... No, I don't know. He's lining up for the backflip. It's not important. Going for the backflip. Oh my, and he got into a little moonwalk. See? San Diego, you're delivering again. And I think he might have lost some power on there. I think the truck shut off. He lost power somewhere in the right side of the truck. I can't tell from here because the truck's on the other side. But a great run, and it will take the lead at a 9.285. So Son of a Digger, Ryan Anderson, again, doing his thing, taking the lead. How many times has Ryan Anderson heard in his life, taking the lead, son of a digger? Like, numerous. Countless. But now it's Tyler Menninga and Gravedigger. He's got Big Air to start off his run, and I guarantee you by the end of his career, he will probably have a very similar total. Actually, he might actually have more at this point in terms of taking the lead. Because you got to keep in mind, this guy, Tyler Menninga's probably driven in more monster truck shows than Ryan Anderson has. That just goes to show you how many shows triple threat drivers would do in a year. I also would love for someone to not fact check me, but tell me on that, because I wouldn't be shocked if Tyler's driven in more shows. Oh my gosh, just sending it. Just no regard. Just, we're going to launch it. Gravedigger doing a great job, and I think he might have just broken the sway bar again for the second straight day. I don't know how you do that twice. He seems to have done it, though. I can't quite tell, as he's not driving straight. What are you doing, Tyler? He's just throwing the truck around. This is like Ryan Anderson. See, this is the Ryan Anderson show. They just threw Ryan in Gravedigger, and they're telling him to finish the show. But my goodness, in all honesty, Tyler Menninga, oh my gosh! What was that? What? San Diego, why? Who gave you the right to be such a phenomenal show? Oh my gosh, and he's flipping over again, and he got it again. What is happening? What is happening? Tyler Menninga, you were a madman, and this isn't even really on purpose. He's just flooring it. Oh, going over again. Do I hear three? And third time's the charm. Truck finally gives out. That's a 9.428, well-deserved. Whatever the heck Tyler Menninga just did was spectacular. But now we have your returning freestyle winner from last night. This is Bari Musauer and Zombie. I'm still blown away by what Tyler Menninga just did. This is like, what a run. But Bari's on the clock. They left Gravedigger there because why not? It makes him an obstacle. And he's behind the racing lane, so just go for it. Bari Musauer getting Big Air over the racing lane. Goodness gracious, and popping it into a wheelie. Classic Bari Musauer style. Getting some more nice air, just launching it into the center of the track. Well, San Diego is already setting itself up. San Diego 2 is setting itself up for Show of the Year. And of course, I wasn't there for it. Big Air. I was there for the first show, which was good. It was the best show I've been to since Glendale 2020. But it was I don't know. This is turning out to be Show of the Year, and Bari Musauer just jumped Gravedigger, and he broke a wheel. And he won freestyle. Well, Bari won freestyle with a 9.611. Now, while the judging might not make sense, that was still an incredible show. That was spectacular. What a night. San Diego, you delivered as always. Just what a night, what a weekend, what a spectacular time San Diego was. Bari Musauer in Zombie snagging himself a freestyle win in both shows of the weekend. Who would have thought? Tyler Menninga won both in Oakland. Bari Musauer won both in San Diego, while the Sunday freestyle show wasn't necessarily deserved. But he still jumped over Gravedigger, which was awesome. So, what a night. If you enjoyed the commentaries being back, let me know in the comments, because I'm committed. We're doing the commentaries going forward. Forget the weekly wrap-up. This is so much more fun. I know you guys are going to like them so much more anyway. So, weekly wrap-up was nice for 1 week, but we're committed. This is a commentary channel. That's what we're doing from now on. We'll see you tomorrow night with Stadium Tour Red. Take care, everybody.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me, even if it's fake.